Okay, hello. We're doing what are you doing? I'm doing a video on, you've guessed it, I'm back with the $1 bill, but we're going to carry on from the previous video, which was the tier fold, which is where this little angel here comes and parks itself next to this other little angel. I'll show you what that looks like. Here we go. Okay, so if you fold it just right, you'll end up with this. If you want to know where the fold markers are for this, they are actually on the opposite side of the dollar bill. They are actually in the spider's web, and in fact, if I just go to here, I can show you very quickly these lines here on the spider's web. Not only do they make a Vesica Pisces shaped out of these two seals. Okay, and of course one seal is one side of the Hoover Dam and the other seal is the other side of the Hoover Dam, and this is the borderline, and the two have got to meet. But if we use these markers, we can flip to the other side of the dollar bill, and that is what is giving us the position for this fold line. Okay, so it's not completely random. I haven't just decided I'm going to fold it right there for no particular reason. There are fold markers on the opposite side of the dollar bill, and what we end up with is this. Okay, and these numbers here, which is the T is 20, the I is 9, and of course the 1 for A. Okay, and so we get 192, and of course in the table, in the chart of Lorraine table that I use in my decodes, which I'll go to in a minute, and for new people, I know this is already sounding really complicated, but bear with me. 1129 is a significant number. It's very much at the center of that table, along with 1118. So this is the number I was this was the date I was looking at with this fold. Okay, but there's a few more things that we can do, and I'm going to link this fold here to another fold that's very closely related to this one now, which is where this angel basically cuts in half and joins up with half of this angel. Let me show you that fold. I call it the lambda fold. Let me show you that so that you're clear. No, don't save that rubbish on there. Let me show you now that little angel is split in half and joined up with the other half of that angel. Look what we've got. We've got the Greek letter lambda. Okay, and that has the value of, it's the 11th letter, and its value is 30. Okay, so we have 1130. So we just had what I thought was probably 1129, and this fold, which is very closely related again, is 1130. Okay, the 30th of November now. Okay, that's the little bit of like background information. Now what I want to do is I want to go into the chart of Lorraine right here, and I want to show you the relevance. Here's the 1129. Okay, and then I'm going to show you what the 1130 is referencing in here. Just one second though, before I get way into this and everybody's like screaming at the screen saying, what in the hell is this table now this dude's brought up? Okay, I just named this the double cross of Lorraine. Okay, just because of the way it looks. All right, no particular reason other than that. But for a better explanation, thank you Journeyman for suggesting that I do this. You can go and check this video out. Just go to my back catalogue, scroll through the videos until you find this one, the chart that predicts the future explained. That will explain what is going on here. Okay, because I don't have time to explain the ins and outs of this now, because that's, you know, another hour of time basically, which we don't need to do right now. Alright, get rid of this jazz, and I'm going to explain why the 30th, that lambda fold, the 30th, is also important, and this is we're going to kind of build on this now to show you some number jumps that are really kind of very interesting, to say the least, with the 1129. Okay, so the first thing to note is where do I want to go with this? Let me just show you this first, because this is not particularly related, but I meant to put this in a video the other day, just to reiterate, you know, this whole thing with Billy Idol. Okay, just break down the name of Billy Idol. Okay, so the bill, like the dollar bill, the bill, the one with the I there, so the bill, the one, and the doll, the dollar. Billy Idol is essentially saying $1 bill, right? That name is saying $1 bill, and of course, born 30th of November. Okay, so the 30th of November not only is in a fold, but we have an important reference with Billy Idol, and of course, his songs are absolutely loaded with Hoover Dam, what I think is Hoover Dam references. But forget about that for a minute, okay? Because there's another important thing on the 30th of November, and that is St Andrew's Day. Is the Great Scott, and if you recall in Back to the Future, Doc happens to mention Great Scott on a number of occasions. Okay, it's one of those things that just stands out, right? And the Great Scott is St Andrew, and the Great Scottish flag, the thing that represents that man is, or that saint, is the blue and white cross of Scotland, right? Now, don't have it up here, but we can go back to our table now. We can click on blue actually and make this look pretty. Actually, let's undo this mess. And what we've got going on is this is the center of the table right here at this dot, right? And what we're doing essentially is when we're dealing with, okay, the blue and white, which is the metaphysical, which is anything to do with the moon, to do with Mary, the Matrix, anything that is to do with the metaphysical, okay, we're looking at this number 11, right? And so if we wanted to draw a cross in here, all right, a blue, which would normally be a white cross on a blue background, but we're going to draw it the other way around so we can see it. This is my blue cross coming through, right? Okay, not very good, I know, but right through the 8 there. Nice, Dan, real nice. Try and just do that a bit better, because we might just leave this up if we can still read these numbers. Okay, so that is our blue cross, our metaphysical cross, right? And I mean, you can see the other cross that's in here, which I would do as the St. George's cross in red. That would be at the center of the 18 there, if we was putting a St. George's cross in. I don't really want to complicate things right now, but that's where we would be at with the St. George's cross there. Very important as well, because those two things essentially joined together and formed the world's biggest empire at the time, the British Empire. So this is pretty important. Now, so this 30th of November, right, it is linking us back to this thing that's in here, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to use this cross now to do some number jumps. Before, you've probably seen me do the 773 jump, okay, because the 7,730 day jump takes us to 1011, okay, and November let me write it in here because I'm saying stuff around the wrong way. November the 10th, basically. Super important because this day is another billfold in the dollar bill. Okay, and it happens to be on the outside edge of this kind of square that is formed with the flag here. Okay, it's a 5x5 square, so we've got 5, 5, 55, and encoded in this square. So this is pretty important square right here. Okay, but there's our 7730 jump. Okay, which is to, again, to the 10th of November, which is heavily encoded in the dollar bill. I'm not going to show you that fold right now, but that's the one where the shield comes over and joins up with the O. It's the little owl fold, for those of you that are, you know, kind of following along with what I'm doing here. But anyway, then I went on to say on that other, what was a video or two ago, we had this 53 show up. I might have mentioned it in the last video as well. And if we do 7753, it gets us to this day here, which is the 3rd of December. Yesterday, basically. I haven't followed the news yesterday to see what anything interesting happened, but that was that day, basically. Now, that could also, well, that was that day. Let's just leave it at that. Let's get rid of some of this mess now, because what I want to do is I want to do another 7,000 day jump, but this is going to be a little bit different now. Let's see. Oh, and by the way, the 7, 7 and the 13 here, that's really important because it shows up again right here and right here, right next to this 7 and this 7. So you can do a 7, 7, 7, 7, 13, 31 day jump, which will take us to the 11th of November, okay, which is pretty key as well. That's a key day. So anyway, because, you know, I forget to put half these things in, and I was about to talk about that the other day and I completely forgot to put it in. And then I happened to see a video on another guy, and he was talking about this jump, and I was like, oh, no. And I bet he picked it up. Well, I say I bet he picked it up. I've watched a couple of other people, and it's like, I don't know who came up with it first, but I've seen it kind of echoed on a couple of different channels. But anyway, I don't know who came up with these number jumps first, but anyway, I picked up on it, and I've robbed the idea from them, and we're carrying on with that theme right now. Anyway, get rid of that and that. I want to show you two jumps that are right here and right here. Let me get rid of the rest of this cross, okay, and that little dot, because what I want to do is I want to split, like in darts, I want to split the 11, okay, with the arrow. And what I want to do is I want to do a number jump with this one here, doing this number, the 187 number, and then I also want to do a number jump here with the 197, okay. And one other thing to note about this 197, while I'm on the top of it, and I don't forget again, it shows up right here in the totals for the 11, okay. And remember how important this 11 column is, because this is what we're trying to regain. This is what was lost. No L even was 9, 11, no L even, and what we're trying to do is bring that back. So we obviously had, this is all to do with the Queen's death here, okay, and the Queen dying, right? So this is what we're trying to get back, that thing rebalanced. That's what I believe anyway. So this is important. This total for this column is going to be important, and it happens to be right here, okay? Right, get rid of all that. Now I'm going to put these two in the jumper maroony thingamajiggy bobby and we'll see where we get to. Okay, so I've got the first number jump in, 7, 8, 10. Okay, just stick the 0 on the 8 on the end, and we're doing this thing in reverse because we want to start with a 7. So here's our murder, death, kill number from Demolition Man and from a whole bunch of other films, but it's the 187. Yeah, remember Donnie Darko, the end of the world coding on his arm. Not only does that come out to an 88, as I think Finis Temporis showed, but you can also get a 187 out of that as well. So just interesting. All right, if we do the 7,810 day jump, double check that, we're going to end up at January the 29th. Okay, so what's interesting about January as well with this 11 thing is, number one, January the 29th is pretty good for the dollar bill again, because that's the right numbers for the tier fold. Okay, and not only that, but January is also would have in the old calendar been the 11th month, right? So hence Janus. You know, one of the ones is the face looking back, and one of the ones in the 11 is the face looking forward. Okay, and so January, it's a good reference. While we're on the topic of January, yeah, let's just do that now. David Bowie, right? I forgot to mention this a couple of times as well. So I'm really just picking up on stuff that I've left out of other videos right now. Of course, covered him long time ago. And we've got the 1-8 and the the reference to Elvis's birthday as well, and old Kim Jong. But his death, okay, this 10th of January, 10-1. Again, this could be a 10-11 reference right here. I wanted to put that in there because of the Angela Lansbury stuff, and also because the 10-11 that is in the dollar bill, that super significant fold there. So I just wanted to mention that while I was kind of thinking about it the other day, and I thought I better just chuck that in somewhere at least. Anyway, lost my train of thought now. Let's just go back to this. Okay, so we did the 187, and that took us to 1129, right? So let's now do the 197. Of course, we're going in reverse. We're going back towards the center, and so let's stick that in the number doodle. And here's our 7, 9, 10, and that takes us to May the 9th. Okay, May the 9th. Interesting thing about May the 9th is, I got May up here. January. Let's go down. Okay, here's May the 9th. Look where we're at here. May the 9th, the 129th day of the year. Yowza, 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 yowza. Interestingly as well is 236. If we were to times, I'm thinking about this right, if I was to times 118, okay, by 2, okay, we end up with 236. So that's pretty interesting as well, because of course I'm on the wrong page here, but this 1118 condensed format is our 118. Okay, right, what else to say? There's a couple of other interesting jumps as well. Now, what else do I want to say about this just before I get off it? Oh, hang on 1 minute. Check this out as well. So our 187 jump, or 7,810, takes us to this day. Okay, 129. We also, which is quite interesting, we also have the 5.9 of the 197 jump here, the 7,910 day jump. Happens to be, we happen to have the 5.9 attached to it, kind of, you know what I mean? So that's pretty interesting that those two kind of fall in line and they're within this box as well. Anyway, anything else to say? I don't know. Yes, a couple more interesting things. Remember this number here, the 125, or the 21st of May, right here, which is a reference again to the 213. Okay, the 213. That happens to be the set of numbers that's on the opposite side of the tier fold. Let me show you something very, very quickly. Oh no, I was on that. That's the one I want to be on. File, let's see. Open. Oh, actually, file. Oh, stop. What are you doing? It's right here in this little doodad here. This one right here. Okay, so that's that fold with the forms the Vesica Pisces, right? Here's our numbers for that fold. I mean, you can get a couple of other, depending on just exactly where you fold this thing. This can look like an E as well. But for me, and actually if it was an E, we would end up, because we've got the 20 there for the T, and of course we've got the A is the 1 and C is 3. So we've got our 213, but sometimes you can, it is interesting that it kind of looks like an E sometimes, because you get just a little piece of the H popping out here. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not or what, but that would give us an E, which would be number 5. So we could potentially get a 125 reference there as well with this thing, which I thought was worth a mention. I know I've mentioned TEA before with this fold. So anyway, but 231 again. That's the start of our. What am I doing? That is the start of. You can tell how good I am on a computer. That is, what do I even want to go to here? I just want to go to that. Okay, that is the start of our table here. Oh, get on red. Okay, and we are dealing with this number. Okay, is a reference via this 13th column and the second row. Okay, so number 2, 13 references this number. This number is super important because the ritual that we're looking at is shooting, like Odysseus shooting his arrow through the eye of the axe head, which the eye of the axe head, I believe, is actually a reference to the axe, not the axe handle, but where the handle goes into the head of the axe. Remember, the SoFi Stadium is the axe head as well. And we had the Super Bowl on 213 this year. Where am I going with this? Let's go look at the dartboard. But that's what we're looking at. We're looking at this thing shooting through the eye of the needle. Okay, so fairly interesting. 521. Okay, this thing is also, if you look down on it, look down on the Space Needle, you can also get this kind of idea of a dartboard, the same as the top of the plutonium chamber on the DeLorean, where the plutonium has to shoot down into the reactor. Okay, and again, the thing that comes out the dartboard, there's a special day right here because there's another channel, Jurassic Liars, that goes on about 6/11. Okay, the 11th of June 203, the 203rd day of the year, and that's got the what I'd call like just the standard cross here, the standard sort of crucifix cross or St. George's cross. Okay, so that is again important in the dartboard, but I'm getting sidetracked. This 521, which is what I'm calling like the matrix number here, the 21st of May, happens to be, if we look right here, we have 125, which would be the forward version of that, which would equate to Jesus's birthday on 12/25. Okay, but what is right next to this and sort of built into this number here is this 9 and the 12, or the 129, or the 192. So super interesting stuff. And that was the jump that I was doing in that last video, is if you go 192 days from 521, okay, that is going to take us to the 29th of November. So we got a 129 day, 192 jump taking us to a 129 day. Super interesting. Where else do I want to go with this? Because I completely lost track of what I'm doing here now. Okay, so we've kind of talked about that very briefly and the significance there. There's a couple other number jumps. So let's just do these other number jumps before I forget about them. Because at the start of this whole thing, and I'm not talking about going back to like we were just doing here, going back to 9/11/2001 and doing that big number jump, right? There was another little thing that happened, and it was quite miraculous actually. Was the Kobe Bryant death thing? Okay, the helicopter crash, where the black helicopter, the Black Pearl, came back down to Earth, okay, and miraculously, slurring my words now, turned into back into a blue and white helicopter. Okay, so it starts off blue and white. Kobe puts a I think, was it the Black Mamba outfit color, whatever it was, something to do with a snake, I can't remember now. He puts his black coating on the thing, and the numbers on it change and everything else as well. But this, so he's flying a new helicopter. Well, it's not a new helicopter, it's different colored now. It's changed from the Virgin Mary colors of the blue and white to the Black Pearl to the Eclipse, and then when he finally crashes and dies, it changes back to the Virgin Mary colors, back to blue and white. Okay, the metaphor there, the little ritual there, is the sacrifice of the ego that we have, that we've built from the Matrix. Yeah, because when you build that ego, that's when you go into the Matrix. That's when the moon comes in front of the sun, and that's when you are wearing that crown of thorns. But you're wearing it in such a way that you're controlled by it. It becomes a ring of control over you. Okay, so that's the thing that's controlling you at that point. Your ego, that has been built from being within the Matrix instead of being within nature. Okay, the body is functioning just as the body should function. The problem is the environment that we have put the body in, and the body creates the ego. The body creates the soul, if you like, to a certain extent. It creates that self-image of ourselves. Okay, so that's the thing that has to be sacrificed. Okay, that's the fictional version of yourself. Okay, because it's the reason it's fictional is because it's based on a system that isn't true. Okay, the Matrix is not a true system. Therefore, that self-image of you that you build of yourself is not your true self. Okay, that's the thing that has to go up on the cross and be sacrificed. You know, to put that thing on the cross. Yeah, the cross is a balance symbol. Putting that thing on the cross is to rebalance that thing, that body. Okay, the body that's wearing the crown of thorns needs to be rebalanced. It needs to go on the cross. That is the ritual self-sacrifice that needs to happen in order to become a free man again, in order to become a balanced man again. And that's what we had with Kobe. Okay, as soon as he dies, the helicopter, you know, the cross that spins around. Okay, that thing is now reverted back to the Virgin Mary, back to the 11 that we're trying to get back to. That 11. Okay, that's the thing that was lost. Okay, they put up another building where those two towers are intertwined. You can look at that a couple of different ways. You can look at that as those two things coming together in balance. You can look at it as one of those things enveloping the other thing. Yeah, that entanglement, that entwinement can be an okay thing as long as it's still balanced, and you don't have one of those things controlling the other. Quite a field full of craziness to make your way through there. Anyway, let's do this blooming number jump. Cool, that was long-winded just to get to this number jump for Kobe. I think it's this one here. Yeah. January the 26th, death of Kobe, and if we do 199 days, we're going to put a 0 in there, so we're actually doing 1099, but this is a reference to the 199 that is in this chart, okay, which is right here, which of course is the Queen's burial date, and this date of course connects back to 187, because the 199th day of the year is the 18th of July. Okay, and I had said at the time, I did a video on the 18th of July, and I was all wound for sound on that one. Oh, this could be the thing with the Hoover Dam here, you know, on the 18th of July. And actually what we had happened was the following day, that was the day that transformer blew up at the Hoover Dam. And look, here is the following day, right here. Okay, the 19th of July. Okay, just interesting stuff like that going on all the time. But there's our 199, which is super important because we're still on this timeline here. Well, this line here. So 199, yeah, I'm thinking it's pretty important because we're in this column here. Okay. Let me get rid of some of that stuff over there real quick. Now, so that jump of 1099, interestingly enough, 1099, just while we're on the subject of the matrix and fiction and the metaphysical and that control system and that ego that we've got to let go of, right? That fictional twin is your, what people like to call the straw man. I actually like to call it the fictional person, yeah? The thing that is the birth certificate, right? Funny thing about that is it's not really yours anyway. It's a piece of paper that lives in a filing cabinet somewhere in the legal system, and it probably lives in a similar looking building to what is in Back to the Future, the courthouse. That's the thing that contains all of those fictional ideas, yeah? The temple. And that's what contains the metaphysical. Okay, so that's why courthouses, you know, like in Back to the Future with the 4 columns, that looks like a temple. Yeah, the side of your head is the temple. Your, that's where the metaphysical ideas are stored, right? And that's what they do at the courthouse. 1099 form. I've come across a guy not several months ago now talking about trying to, basically the guy's trying to rip off the system and get stuff paid for using a 1099 form. It's just a quick caveat on that. It's not a good idea because it is fraud what the guy's doing. But I'm getting sidetracked now. But again, you know, this is all to do with the the fiction, okay, and that control system, that twin, that is a metaphysical twin that is now in control of most people's lives, okay, and that's the thing again that has to be sacrificed. There's I've just stumbled across another channel thanks to Journeyman as well, which was a guy that goes by the what's the name of the channel? It's 7711, and he's been talking about the name change thing. I haven't really seen many of his videos yet, but pretty interesting stuff. The name change thing. They've just done this on YouTube. They've just changed everybody's names over. Funny the timing that's happened, you know. I mean, they've been having problems for years now, and other platforms do I think this is, you know, this is to try and crack down on all the scams going on. But this is how tech savvy I am, not very. But it's just interesting the timing of changing all these names, because this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with fictional language on one side of the thing that's controlling people, and then we're dealing with a physical world as well, where we're the living man. Okay, and we're only really bound by the value that we exchange with one another in the here and now. This is why we have to have the legal system, so we can have contracts, so we can bind people over a certain amount of time. But it only works, that binding only works when you have a system that has some kind of collateral behind it to make that person, that man that's acting as the person, the fictional person, keep his word. Okay, because there's nothing that does that for a man in the physical world, so to speak. I'm really waffling now, and I wanted this to be a short video, but yeah. Anyway, there's our day jump, 1,099 days, and it takes us to the 29th of January. One other interesting thing to note about the difference between this, okay, 7, 8, 10, and 7, 9, 10 is, of course, this is 100 days. So I just put it in here so you can see. January the 29th is for sure 100 days to May the 9th. And what's important about this is the dollar bill, 100 cents, 100 pennies in that dollar bill. And again, that's an important reference back to the dollar bill. So I don't know what else I've missed out of here. Oh, yeah, this is important as well. Liminal. Good job on paying slight attention here. We can also do one other little date jump, and that's from Julian to Gregorian. Okay, and I've got this in, technically this is in the wrong way around, I think, but it doesn't really matter. I just thought this was interesting. I've just plugged in January the 29th in the Julian calendar to see what will come out in the Gregorian calendar, and we have February the 11th. Okay, the significance of February the 11th, ignore this year jump. That's just because of where the two calendars choose to start the year. That's, forget about that for now. This is what we're looking at. But this February the 11th, the 211. Again, the 211. Let's just do a couple of things with the 211. 211. Again, 2 and the 11. Okay, and that is referencing 199 again, the same way as we did the 213 to do the 521. So that's our that's a nice 211 reference with the 199. Another nice 211 reference is also what am I doing? I won't go here. Let's see if I had him. Yeah, there is. Is this dude here, the guy that is on the dollar bill? Of course, the first guy, the alpha, and he's sitting inside the omega on the dollar bill, and his birthday, because that's what we're looking at, is the rebirth. His birthday in the old calendar is February the 11th. Okay, so again, super important. And of course we have a 222 reference with his birthday as well when we change calendars, which the 222 is super important as well. I'm not going into it right now. I think I've covered everything. Wow, that's pretty good. What have I forgotten? Nothing really. But anyway, let me show you the omega. There's the omega there, surrounding the alpha, the A, the physical man that is stuck inside the dam. Okay, and that is what, and I think a lot of people still aren't getting this reference with the phallus symbol, the phallic symbol, like the Washington Monument and all those pointy things that go along with the dome shaped things. Okay, yes, that is male and female genitalia. Yes, well done. But what we're symbolizing with that stuff is the male symbolism is mankind, is the physical being, and the female is the metaphysical. I think people get that to a certain degree, but I don't know, just when I listen to people talking a lot of the time, I'm like, are they really making the connection? Or, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like some people just seem to skim over it. They seem to say, oh, we've got male genitalia, we've got female genitalia, but they don't seem to make the connection that we're talking about the physical being, with the penis is representing the physical being, both men and women that are living as living beings, living physical beings in this world. Okay, and then the female side of things, the female genitalia, that is the place where those fictional ideas exist. Okay, that is the moon, that is the goddess stuff. Okay, that's the thing that man falls in love with, is all these bloody ideas that we keep having. Okay, that's the sin right there, because the problem is, when we have those ideas, inevitably what happens is those ideas are not in line with balance. Okay, because to be quite honest, that's already been done. The world in which we are supposed to live has already been done to perfection, and that's called nature. And what we've done is we've come along and we think, oh, we can do this better. We can. What it all boils down to is trying to eke out some profit, trying to be greedy and take a little bit more than what we're supposed to have. That's capitalism. That is what those ideas lead to. You know what? I want to live a little bit longer. I'm going to take X, Y, and Z to make me live a little bit longer. You know what? I want to have a little bit more in my life. I want to be able to leave the tap running while I'm brushing my teeth and waste some water. Those little things, those little things, all that stuff that we take that we don't need and we use, that greed, I guarantee it, everybody that is involved in the system, you know, in one way or another, we are basically we're out of balance. We're basically way too greedy, and being greedy and using those ideas, that's where that sin comes from. Okay. I'm going to leave it there for the video because I could just waffle on for hours about that kind of stuff. I hope you enjoyed that. I don't think I've missed anything major out of that lineup. Did all that lot. Yeah, I don't think I've missed anything too major out of it. I guess I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. All right, thanks for watching. Anyway, yeah, and another thank you to Journeyman. I'm gonna do a video on the I'll give you a heads up on it right now, on this thing here. Okay, this 118, which is directory inquirers in England, changing over from 129 to, or 192, sorry, to 118. Okay, and yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it for this one. But this number here, this is super important. Okay, 1129. It's the combination of both these two, and it's the individual sums of these two. So this 29 is important, and we are trying to get back to this thing here. Okay. All right. Cheers. Catch you on this one. All right. Bye.